Hi, my name is Tommy. I'm going to take you through a detailed rig rundown of my current setup using two 26-inch kick drums. I recently posted pictures of this kit on Reddit, the R Drums subreddit, and on the Pearl Drums Facebook page. And in both instances, I got a huge amount of engagement and a lot of questions about this kit. So I decided it was a good idea to do a rig rundown on YouTube to explain exactly what it is and how it came to be. So to start things off, I'm going to get right to it and go through all the drums you see here set up for playing. And then after that, I'll go through some backstory of where I started with this kit and how it grew into what it is, including several drums over here on the side in the same antique gold finish from Pearl. And then of course, I'll run through the mix match hardware and cymbals I'm currently using and what I have planned next for that. So I'm going to flip the camera around and go through all the drums. Okay, so looking at the drums from the drummer's perspective, again, as I said, these are two 26-inch kick drums. They're both 14 inches deep, and they're both from Pearl's wood fiberglass series. The rack tom is also from the same series, and it's a 12x8. The first floor tom is actually a 14x14 BRX, which is from the Pearl Masters line. It is an all birch drum. And then the 16x16 is also from the wood fiberglass series. And then last but not least, the drum I've had for a million years now, a 14x5.5 inch Chad Smith Signature Series Snare, which is a steel drum and was actually a budget price drum back in the day, but it's been fantastic and I still love using it. So this is the kit as I'm currently using it, but this is certainly not how it started. It's been a long evolutionary process, and I'm going to run through that real quick right now and tell you where I started with these drums and how it led to where it is now. So the original core kit that I bought brand new, probably around 2000, was a Pearl Masters BRX kit. It started with this 22x18 kick drum, this 10x8 inch rack tom, which I'm currently using as a lamp holder, and then of course the 14-inch floor tom that I mentioned earlier. That was the core kit that I started with. I was still playing in bands at the time, so I was gigging with it and really enjoyed having a tight little 4-piece kit. I eventually stopped playing in bands and went back to school, and I did keep my drums and was still playing them for fun, and that's when the expansion started. The first drum I bought on eBay used was this 13x10 inch MMX Pearl Masters drum, which is a 4-ply maple drum with reinforcement rings. I was using it as my first floor tom, so at the time I was going 10, 13, 14 with that 22-inch kick. And the next drum I bought, also on eBay, this one happened to be new in box, so it was a new old stock drum, was this 26x14-inch kick. So that's how I ended up with the first 26-inch kick drum. And again, I was using it with the same 10, 13, 14-inch toms. For several years, I used it that way. But all that time, I was starting to search for this drum right here, the 16-inch floor tom in antique gold finish. Didn't care what series it was from. I just wanted it to be the correct matching color to expand the low end of the kit on the toms. And it took me several years to find that drum. The next drum I found was the 12-inch rack tom, also on eBay, also new in box. And then that search continued for the 16-inch floor tom. Fast forward to fall of last year, on Reverb, I found another kit, also in antique gold, which was a wood fiberglass series kit. It was this kick drum, 26x14. It had the 16x16 floor tom I've been looking for, and it had this 13x9 wood fiberglass tom. It was a used kit. As you can see, there's a little bit of damage on the hoop here on the bass drum, but overall the kit was in great shape. So I bought the kit, got the drum I've been looking for, the 16-inch floor tom, but I also ended up with the second kick drum and another 13-inch tom. But it let me have my desired setup that I really wanted, which was 12, 14, 16. My intent was to continue to use just the one kick drum, and I actually did set it up that way for quite some time. But I decided, since I had the second kick drum, it's been 20 years or more since I played a real double bass kit, I decided to get some new pedals and set it up with two kick drums and see how it goes. And so far, I'm really loving it. So moving on to the hardware, I did need to buy new pedals, so I bought two Pearl Eliminator pedals, brand new off Reverb. I've been really enjoying them so far, still trying to get them tweaked in. So before we move on to the hardware and the cymbals, let's just talk about the heads real quick. I've been a long-time Remo user with good success, but with this kit, I wanted to try something new. So I did decide to try the Evans heads. Not only do I think they look great, but they tune up really easy, and I think they sound great. And I don't know what they do with their quote-unquote coated heads, but they hold up incredibly well compared to the Remo coated heads I've used in the past. they still look almost like brand new, and these heads have been on the toms for 6 or 8 months. Even the snare head has minimal wear on it, despite all the beating that it takes. So the toms all have Evans coated G2s. The snare has a heavyweight, and the kick drums I'm using EMAD coated with impact pads for the beaters. And I do have one of the foam rings on the insert around the outside of the head. On the Rezo side of the bass drum heads, I'm using the Evans Onyx heads. So again, they're coated, but these happen to be black. And I actually found these logos on eBay. They're just laser cut logos. They're perfect pearl replicas from what I can tell. And I think they really set the finish off of the drums, having the matching logo color. As for hardware, I'm still using my Tama swivel dual leg Iron Cobra hi-hat, which is working great. But at some point I will probably upgrade that to a matching pearl hi-hat stand. I'll talk about my clamp system here in just a moment. Walking around to the side just for a better view. I have a pearl straight stand, a Gibraltar boom stand. The rack tom is mounted on an old Ludwig snare stand. The snare is mounted on an old Tama Titan snare stand. The right crash is an old Tama stilt bottom with a Gibraltar boom top. I have the ride in a floating position, which is kind of necessary because of the size of the 26-inch kick drum. I couldn't really mount it from underneath and keep it low, which is the way I like it. So I'm using a counterweight boom from Gibraltar on this stand right here. And then the last stand is just a straight Gibraltar cymbal stand. And then last but not least, I am using an old Rock and Sock bicycle seat throne, which has been fantastic and still rock solid after probably over 20 years. As I said, I was going to talk about this clamp system here a little bit. Because I'm on a carpet floor and then I have a couple layers underneath the kit to protect the carpet, the hi-hat was pretty wobbly, and I didn't have a hoop clamp adapter on hand to secure the hi-hat to the bass drum. But what I did have were a couple Tama auxiliary clamps and of course a pearl tom mount. And I was able to just daisy chain them from the cymbal stand to the hi-hat stand. And it actually does a great job of keeping it firm. So it's working, so I'll stick with it for now. Eventually, just to clean it up, I'll probably get a hoop clamp. I guess I'll point out the bucket here because in those posts I made, one of the most asked questions is, what's the bucket for? All it is a small trash can turned upside down. And right now it's literally just a temporary way to hold my phone and a drink when I'm playing drums. That's all it is. But people on the internet seem to be fascinated by it and trying to figure out what the point of it is. I guess I'll point out this stand here with the mic on it. I had that there because I do like to still practice singing while playing. So I have the mic there so I can do that. It's just a good way to stay sharp. And for me, it's a good way to exercise what I call 5-way independence, which is your 4 limbs on the kit and then using your voice with the mic stand. So next up, we're going to talk about the cymbals. So I have a hi-hat and 2 crashes here and a ride and 2 crashes here. Starting with the hi-hats, I've had these forever. It's a set of 14-inch Zildjian quick beat hi-hats in brilliant finish. I also have a brilliant rock top that I'll use for this sometimes to give it a little more volume and bite. But right now I'm using the original quick beat top. What makes the quick beat unique is the bottom cymbal. And it has 4 holes in it, which prevents airlock. And I think most importantly, it doesn't have a bell. So it sits flat, and so it's a very stable platform when you're doing hi-hat work. And I'm using a pearl drop clutch on that. My cymbals are currently still a bit of a mix match. However, I've been gradually making the shift over to Peisty cymbals as something different. This cymbal I bought brand new on Reverb. It's a 17-inch 2002 series thin crash. Looks and sounds great. My current main left crash, this is the cymbal I'll use for chokes, is a 16-inch Zildjian A in natural finish rock crash. It's a very durable and good sounding cymbal. Moving to the right-hand side, the mainstay is this 20-inch Peisty Signature Dimensions Power Ride. I bought this used over 20 years ago. It's a fantastic cymbal. And since I love it so much, it's a cymbal that has made me decide to maybe try going all Peisty on my setup. My main crash on the right side, a little bit out of place, is a Sabian B8 Pro 18-inch rock crash. Brilliant finish. This is actually more of a midline budget cymbal, but it actually sounds really good and it's been super durable. This is the cymbal I probably hit the most and the hardest, and it's been going strong for about 20 years. And then last but not least is another Peisty 2002 series. This is a medium 18-inch crash. Great sounding cymbal. I've been really happy with the look and the sound of the 2002s, so that's probably the way I'll continue to go. And there you have it. That's a detailed overview of the kit. I did forget to mention, currently I'm playing ProMark sticks. I'm using just 2Bs. I'm not really particular about sticks, but that's what I'm currently using. They've been a good fit for this kit. Again, especially since I'm not playing live where I need more volume in a rock setting. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or if there's anything I missed that you want to know about, drop it down in the comments down below. There'll be more coming on this channel with this kit as it evolves and I really get it whipped into shape. If you found the video useful or interesting, drop a like down below. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to continue to follow the progression of this kit and more as I start to post some playing samples, subscribe to the channel now. Stay tuned. Lots more is on the way. Thanks a lot and have a great day.